What's going on, guys? Drewzy here, back again on the channel with another best of video, and this is probably going to be the last best of video, guys, that we're going to be doing here for a little while until some of the other cards are launched here in the game. There are a multitude of different characters that we haven't been able to get to because they don't have cards in all four themes yet, but there is one left that we haven't talked about here yet on the channel, and that, of course, is Dougie. So we're going to go through all four of the Dougie cards, talk about them, break them down, and then I will choose a winner here at the end of who I think is the best Dougie currently within the game. There's a couple key factors to talk about Dougie before I get started, as there are a lot of similarities between these Dougie cards. So I'm going to first talk about all of the different things that they have in common, as there are 6 specific things that all the Dougies have in common. Number 1, they are all Headhunter cards. So all of them have Headhunter abilities. Essentially means that they're going to bombard immediately for the new kid. They're not going to try to attack any other units, except maybe a Zen Cartman if his Zen Cartman is pulling them with his aura ability. They all have the same exact movement speed that each character has, which is a 1.17 speed as far as, so they will all attack and rush towards the new kid at the same rate of speed, so there is no advantage as far as any of the Dougies as far as how fast they're going to be beelining for that new kid. They all have the same rarity. All of them are rare cards currently within the game, and they all have the same energy cost, as they are all a 4 energy cost. They all have the same attack range. They do not have the same attack speed. They have the same attack range. So they all have the same range as far as how far they will actually hit with their basic attack. But we'll talk about attack speed, of course, as we break down each of the Dougies. And the last thing they all have in common is they're all assassins. So that is a key thing to know. But again, just because they're an assassin, they are only going to beeline for the new kid as headhunters. So the first Dougie that we're going to talk about, of course, is from the adventure theme. Again, he's a rare assassin, headhunter, and he is Barrel Dougie. So his headhunter ability does extra damage to the enemy leader on his first hit, and of course that attack boost changes with his current level. As you see, I have it to 58 and could get another plus 16 with my next level upgrade on Barrel Dougie. So one of the big things we need to know about Barrel Dougie is his total health and total attack damage at max rank, which is 248 health and 272 damage. He actually has the most total health out of any of the Dougies currently within the game. Of course, he only has an advantage by 1 energy, so don't look at it as a huge advantage. He has a 1 energy, 1 health, total health advantage at max rank over all the other Dougies. He has an attack speed of a 3.3, so every time he's going to hit with his basic attack at 3.3, which is the slowest of all 4 of the Dougies currently within the game. And is the second slowest out of all the adventure cards, which is kind of surprising, guys, because the adventure theme has attack speed is one of the big advantages of the adventure theme, is attack speed and low energy cost. So he has the second slowest attack speed out of the fastest attack speed theme in the game. Doesn't bode very well for him. His damage per second is 79.4 damage per second, which is the lowest and the worst out of all of the Dougies currently within the game. So those are the 2 big things to kind of go into perspective. I do like his Headhunter ability. It does that little bit of extra damage to the enemy leader on the first hit, and he needs that advantage of that extra damage, because then he is basically not that effective after that point, because he has a slower attack speed. He's not going to be able to devastate and hit quite as hard. And when you look at it, there are 3 Dougies that have a 272 total base damage at max rank, and Barrel Dougie is one of those 3. So he doesn't have an actual damage advantage. He has the slowest attack speed, which really puts him at a disadvantage. So that's Barrel Dougie. Let's go ahead and talk about the second Dougie here on the breakdown. So the second Dougie is, of course, from the sci-fi theme. It is Power Fist Dougie. So Power Fist Dougie's Headhunter ability is he freezes the enemy leader with the first strike. Now that freeze, as you can see here, currently lasts for 4 seconds. I am not sure if that does scale up as you level him up. I don't think that it does, but maybe it does. As you see, I only have him 6 of 15. I don't plan on leveling up Power Fist Dougie anytime soon, to be honest with you. His total health and base damage at max rank is 247 health and 272 damage. The same amount of total damage as Barrel Dougie and 1 less health than Barrel Dougie. He has an attack speed of a 2.6, which is the second slowest of all the Dougies. He has a total damage per second of 101.5, which is the 3rd best out of all the Dougies. So not as good in the Dougie category. So he's also right around the same as Barrel Dougie. He attacks a little bit faster, so that's his only advantage over Barrel Dougie, but Power Fist Dougie doesn't give you a lot of benefit over any of the other Dougies that we're going to talk about here. So I would currently put Barrel Dougie probably, I'd put Power Fist Dougie in my honest opinion, because I don't like his Headhunter ability as much. I'd probably put him 4th and put Barrel Dougie currently in 3rd place right now on the breakdown video. So that's going to be the rankings I'm going to give them right now. And of course, all Dougies, one other thing that they all have in common, all Dougies are currently low tier cards within the current PvP meta as well. So all those are key things to remember. But we're going to go ahead and talk quickly about the 3rd Dougie in the breakdown. So Dougie number 3 from the mystical theme is Prophet Dougie. So Prophet Dougie's big difference in his hunter ability is if he hits enemy leader, pause energy regeneration, which lasts for 2 seconds on the first hit. I do not know if that scales up or increases as you level him up, because again, he's 6 of 15 again. Don't really have any interest in leveling up Prophet Dougie either. Prophet Dougie's total damage and total health at max rank, his total health 247 and 272 damage, which is identical to Power Fist Dougie at max rank. He has an attack speed of a 2.1, which is the 2nd fastest of all the Dougies, and his total damage per second is 125.7, which is actually the 2nd best out of all of the current Dougies within the game. He is a little bit more popular of all the Dougies, to be honest. I've seen Prophet Dougie more than any of the other Dougies. I think, well, probably Barrel Dougie and then Prophet Dougie have been the 2 most popular Dougies that I've seen. But I like Barrel Dougie's Headhunter ability again over Prophet Dougie. But Prophet Dougie, in reality, is still much stronger with the faster attack speed, with the overall damage per second, which is better. And he has the same amount of base damage and only 1 less health than Barrel Dougie has. So I would probably put Prophet Dougie 2nd best out of all of the Dougies so far. So Prophet Dougie number 2, Barrel Dougie number 3, and then Power Fist Dougie number 4 right now on the countdown. But of course, we got one more Dougie to talk about here, guys. Let's talk about the fantasy theme Dougie real quick. So last but certainly not least, the fantasy theme Dougie is Dwarf Engineer Dougie, who has a Headhunter ability of his attack he has an attack boost for every hit that he hits on the enemy new kid. This does scale up with you level him up, as I only have him of 10 of 15. My attack boost is currently a 10 plus attack for each hit that he has with his basic attack. He has the fastest attack speed of all the Dougies with a 1.9. He has the highest base overall damage per second with a 137.4 out of all the Dougies, which is about 11 or 12 higher than Prophet Dougie's was. He has 246 total health at max rank and 269 total damage at max rank, which is the lowest amount of health and the lowest amount of damage at max rank out of all the Dougies. But he hits faster. He also has higher DPS, and his Headhunter ability is pretty solid with the extra boost to attack damage as he continues to hit going forward. And because he has the faster attack speed, he's going to be able to pump out more damage much, much quicker. So, in my opinion, Dwarf Engineer Dougie should be the best Dougie, because he has all the best stats on paper to then basically prove that he is the stronger of Dougies. So my rankings of the Dougies: Dwarf Engineer Dougie number 1, Prophet Dougie number 2, Barrel Dougie number 3, and Power Fist Dougie number 4. But let me know down below, guys, what you think of the Dougies. And in all reality, I don't really see Dougies that often as you get into the higher tiers of PvP, because they're not really that viable right now. And I don't think that they will be for probably some time, unless there's some major tweaking to the Dougies. I think that all the Dougies are around the same, very close and similar in a lot of ways, and have a lot of don't really have a distinct huge advantage over one another. Dwarf Engineer Dougie's really only big advantage is his attack speed is much higher than some of the other Dougies. But in reality, I don't think you should really focus on leveling up a Dougie, in my opinion, because they're really not that strong, not that great to use. Can be fun and can be a surprise to someone in the mid to lower tiers of PvP. But if you're looking to push into legendary, use your mats on something else that would be more beneficial for you in the long run of your PvP experience than any of these Dougie cards. That's just my honest opinion. I did level up Barrel Dougie quite a bit in the early stages of my gameplay. As you saw, he was level 4, or almost level 4, where some of these others are only level 2, because I got smarter as I went along and thought, man, these Dougies are really trash, and I should stop wasting these materials on them. So my advice to you guys, do not worry about Dougie here going forward, but unless there's some major drastic change, and then I will, of course, update this and say, hey, you should totally use a Dougie because they're great now. But let me know which Dougie you guys prefer, what you think of my ranking video. Really have enjoyed making this best of series. I'm not saying it's completely gone when these other characters that have 2 or 3 in the current themes, when they get to 4, I will make more of these best of videos. I'm going to be making plenty more showdown videos. I know you guys are really enjoying the showdowns. I have a lot of ideas for a lot of showdown videos here going forward, and a lot of other videos and a lot of other content here on the channel. But until next time, guys, my name is Drewzy.